Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. I don't know how many of you got to check out my video the other day on the liberal media freaking out over the so-called far right taking over the MMA or mixed martial arts. But my guest today himself has a bit of a backstage perspective in that world, precisely because he's helped provide astonishing pain relief for UFC fighters. I'm joined today by investor and food scientist Clint Winters. You've seen him on Fox, you've read about him in Forbes, and for good reason. Clint has dedicated his life to helping as many Americans as possible maximize their health as well as relieve pain. Clint has patented dozens of mega healthy supplements and compounds, and he's here today to share with us how he got involved in the UFC, as well as help us get healthier and in many cases, like myself, find relief for our aches and pains. So Clint, welcome, my friend. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to start off by saying I owe you a big thanks. Now, I don't know if you know, I've lost 50 pounds over the last 6 months.
I followed it.
Well, and it's cool because part of that is I had to exercise every day.
Absolutely.
Except when I would hurt my back. I've had a bad back since I was a kid. I slept a lot of nights on the floor. And I got to tell you, when I first met you a couple of months ago, and I started taking the Cano CB2, the droplets, every single day, dude,
it's amazing,
gone. Right? I'm not kidding you. I mean, I'm healed. It's literally, my back was, I'm serious when I say this, my back was always sore. I mean, I was just stiff. I'm stiff in general. It's not anymore. I mean, this is amazing stuff. So give us a bit of your backstory here, Clint, and how you ended up working with these amazing athletes who are getting a lot more pain than I am.
Sure. Well, it started off with, I really got heavily focused on supplements in 2015. That's when I really wanted to come in with my scientific background, make a difference, create innovations that were new, focused on bioavailability, allowing nutrients to actually get into the body. I know I told you about my backstory, but I lost over 100 pounds myself, so I know exactly what you went through. So I was using this technology on myself to heal myself and get myself back to where I'm at today. And along that journey, I came across Canolodine, which was deep in medical journals. It's not something you saw anywhere out in the public. And it just totally blew my mind because Canolodine is an alkaloid from the crepe jasmine plant. It's been used medicinally for over 1,000 years in other countries. And it's a natural pain reliever that no one knows about here.
That's the thing. It's totally natural. These aren't totally drugs or anything like that. Yeah.
No, it's drug free and unknown and powerful. So when I started to read the research that had been done on that particular Canolodine alkaloid, and I saw leading scientists compare it to morphine without side effects, I was like, I cannot believe this isn't out in the general public. And what I kind of came to find out was they were focused on creating a synthetic version that will eventually, years from now, be a pharmaceutical, of course, for the multi-billion-dollar market.
Of course, yeah.
But as we sit here, there's a natural ingredient that is powerful. So I then took my focus on how do I extract this ingredient from the crepe jasmine plant and put it into a liquid that's highly absorbable and highly effective. So that took about 3 years of time to create what's now called the dual polar extraction system. It's patented. We then added PEA, which is a natural endocannabinoid, not to be confused with CBD, but it's a natural endocannabinoid, which works on some of the same receptors. So that combined with Canolodine turned into this really powerful, safe pain reliever that is certified drug-free. So that's how we got into athletics, was once we had that, obviously with our test customers, and we saw the same story you just gave to me come back time and time again, other customers getting off painkillers and changing their life. Well, then we were approached by athletes who said, I'm beat up. I'm not allowed to use painkillers because of all of our water restrictions when it comes to their drug testing.
Right.
I can't use CBD because certain CBDs, have above the THC level, and I'll get busted for that. So they're very skittish. So we were able to take Canolodine, send it off, get it drug free certified, and now it became, a weapon for professional athletes who are out there putting their body through hell every day, to recover faster and to feel better. And it doesn't, as it doesn't make you feel inebriated. You don't feel doped up. You just wake up feeling good. The pain, it's just like if you were to take the dial, it turns the pain down every
Yeah.
single day.
And that what's so interesting when you first introduced this to me is you were explaining you don't take this when you have pain. It's a supplement. It's something like if you
Correct.
take your vitamin C or what have you.
Absolutely.
Can you flesh that out a little bit?
Yes. Yeah. So Canolodine is the only known ingredient that actually supports and boosts your natural pain killing abilities, which are endorphins. So we know of endorphins as a runner's high. So you go out and you're running, and all of a sudden you feel like Superman, and you run 6 miles and you feel amazing. Those same endorphins make pain go away. They give you a great mood. But the problem is, as we use and overuse endorphins over our time period, especially as we age, and we all age, it's not as effective. It's not as efficient. Our body can't use them as well. So what Canolodine does is it goes in and basically takes away any scavenger receptors that are stealing these endorphins from our brain, and allows 100% to get to your brain, just like when you were 6, 7, and 8 years old. And you could go fall off your bike and you wake up the next day and you're fine. I know we all want those days again, right? And that's what Canolodine does. Is it
Right.
basically makes your endorphin flow more effective. So therefore, you want to use it on a daily basis because it's supporting that, just like you support your heart, your brain, your immune system, or any other system in the body.
It's so interesting. What you bring up the aging element there, because I've read in your bio you've done a lot of research on anti-aging.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you look good. How
Thank
old?
you.
Can I ask how old you are?
41. Yeah.
Of course, you look great. There you go. There you go, Clint. That's it. See, I'm 54. I can ask people that question now. I haven't got my suspenders yet, and I don't have dinner at 4, but I'm not that cranky yet. But what's the secret? I mean, how does this relate
It's
to sort of an anti-aging kind of concept here?
it does really be, and you've kind of already touched on it. The fact that as you use Cono CB2 and your endorphin flow is healthier, then you can go out and do things better without the same soreness, without feeling beat up. So imagine if you could work out, you could go play golf, you can go play tennis, you can go enjoy your life, and you don't wake up paying for it the next day. Because
Right.
that's the biggest thing for me was, as you get older, you want to go do these things, you want to go perform, you want to go work out, you want to go to the beach and play golf and all these things, but then the next day you wake up and you can't move. Well, Kano
Right.
CB2 changes that to where your endorphin flow allows you to wake up the next day. So if you want to go book, a 3-day outing to go play, 36 holes, or like you can do that. It
Wow.
allows you to live life in a different and a better way, just like you were, decades younger. And that's how I feel. And that's what we see, from all the internal tests and customer feedback we get. So it just allows you to perform at a higher level, no matter what age you actually are, which is going to keep you in better shape.
Yeah, well, I mean, I couldn't reciprocate more of a unanimous yes to everything you just said. I mean, it's just the I've become very passionate. Obviously, it's almost like somebody who just quit smoking, and now I want everybody to quit smoking. Or so, I've become very passionate about health of late, and
Me too.
this is just this supplemental approach to pain is so wonderful because we don't think about it unless we're in pain. Whereas this is so preventative in
It
many
is.
respects.
It is. It's you have to maintain your endorphin system just like every other system in the body. And to me, it's so important just because there's so many horror stories we've heard about painkillers and people trying to beat pain in the wrong ways and being hooked on drugs and all these different things that have
Exactly.
happened in our country. So
Yeah.
to be able to have an option that's safe, that's drug tested, that is affordable, that you can use, and has powerful effects, I think is already life changing for many, and will. I think Canolodine 2 years from now, and you can timestamp the interview here. I think it'll be as big as aspirin or any
Wow.
other painkiller that you know of that's out there. It will take over because it's powerful but it's safe.
Right, right, right. And again, as athletes are using it and the like, it's just, you're a health expert. Yeah, I mean, give us a sense. If do you mind just giving us a sense of this, what your opinion is on the state of modern food today? I mean, I've read reports on the dangers of modern food supply, its over reliance on chemicals and so on, and the importance of going natural. I mean, what's your take on all that and how it relates to the aging process, or just our overall feelings of health and so on?
Sure. So, you know, we live in a society where the food companies are there to provide food, but they're also there to make money, right?
Right.
They're publicly traded companies. They have shareholders. They're going to do what they need to do to produce as much as possible, even if that means that some of the practices aren't as good for the end consumer. So you hit on it. Obviously, there's a lot of production with GMOs. There's lots of production with, even when you get into cattle, hormones. But the biggest thing that a lot of people don't talk about, it's because those things are publicized a lot. GMOs talked about a lot, but we don't really talk about our topsoil. We don't have the
Mm,
best topsoil anymore in our agriculture system. So what that means is when we pull, let's say, a green vegetable and we're told, okay, eat your spinach because you need magnesium. Well, that spinach may only have 20% of what it did 30 years ago.
wow.
So we think we're eating the right things, but we're nutrient deficient.
Right.
And that is something that was actually the first thing that I really focused on was magnesium when I first got into supplements in 2015, was because magnesium is so important for the body. We're so deficient because we think we're eating the right things and it's just not working. Um, so yeah, I think supplementation from the right companies, making sure, again, that's why I said I focus on bioavailability. You have to make sure that what you take is actually absorbing into your body. But I think those simple factors can also be life changing along with a regimen of something like Canolodine, because those are simple. Your vitamin D's, your vitamin C's, your magnesium, these are things you need. Your body needs to thrive. And 70% of us just don't do it. It's so simple. It's right there. It's so
I,
simple.
yeah, I was just going to say, what I mean, I could hear, I mean, my old self 50 pounds ago, if I was listening to all this banter, I would be like, oh, I'm not an athlete. I'm not a UFC fighter. I just hang out all day and do my thing. I talk to a camera all day, for heaven's sake. How does this all apply to me? I mean, you summarized that very well. I mean, I mean, if this is a topsoil issue, this is something that's affecting all of us.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what? Regardless if we're athletes or not, we all have families. We want to go enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
We want to go travel. There's things outside of sports that we want to go do. And I think the worst destiny we can have is we work our entire lives. We get to a point where we don't have to work as hard anymore, but now we're sick and we're
Yeah.
out of shape and we cannot go do the things we want to do because we're bedridden or we're tired or we're in pain or overweight or whatever it is. That just sounds terrible to me, because
Yeah.
you invest your entire life and cannot enjoy it, the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, it was my father-in-law. He's my wife's from Japan, and he was part of the generation, the post World War II generation that smoked and drank and worked themselves literally to death.
Yeah.
And when it came time for him to retire, my mother-in-law's in great shape. He was a mess, and he couldn't travel, couldn't do anything. And it was I still remember my wife talking about just how sad it was to see that. I'm
Yeah.
I'm guessing I'm guessing that Big Pharma is not the biggest fan of your work.
Yeah, you're guessing right. I mean, uh, you know, let me say this. Um, I think there's a place for pharmaceuticals. There's a place for advanced medicine. When you get to a point where you need something synthetic to help you, I'm definitely I definitely say there's things out there that are life saving under the right circumstances. What bothers me is there's nothing discussed from the pharmaceutical side about prevention. Hey, things you
Right.
can do today
Right.
to keep yourself from getting high blood pressure, to keep yourself from getting diabetes, they just want to be there and make billions of dollars after you do get sick. So
Right.
yeah, so they don't like guys like me that are out there, because I not only try to, obviously we have a supplement line, but there's also education. There's just knowledge. I don't even care if you take my stuff. I just want people to be taking the right things to give themselves a better life. So when you're out there kind of spreading that knowledge, yeah, they're not fond. They're definitely not fond of Canolodine, but you know, I'm not here to make friends with Pharma.
Make friends with Big
Yeah,
Pharma. Well, it's so interesting because one of the trends we've been tracking with on this channel for like 6 years is this trend of re-traditionalization, where people are going back. They're going back to culture, customs, traditions for very rich resources for a flourishing life. And I love what you just said because I don't think we recognize how modern our conception of health is today. If we think of health today solely in negative terms, such as the absence of disease, we miss the more classical, going back all the way to the Greek medical tradition, the Hippocratic tradition and the like. They saw health as much more of a balance. They saw it as a sympathy, as it were, with the world and the cosmos and all this sort of thing. You just see that in all these ancient wisdom traditions. Health is proactive. It is something you have to, it's not necessarily natural in a fallen world, as it were. You have to actively align yourself with the balance, as it were. So the hydrotherapy, diet, exercise. Socrates was nicknamed Broad Shoulders because he was
yeah,
so big.
yeah.
That's what I love about what you're advocating. It's sort of like going back to this wisdom that enabled the human race to survive all these millennia,
Agreed.
that we seem to have lost with our over reliance on all this artificiality.
I agree. And you just said a key word, which is survive. And you have to remember that when you go back, 1,000 years, let's say, like you're dealing in a time period where we didn't have a choice. Like it wasn't
Right.
about I want to feel better so I can go on a trip. It's if I'm out of shape, I die.
I
I can't
die.
go home.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's like it was so necessary to align yourself, like you said, with everything around you, with nature, with the cosmos, with what you're doing on a daily basis. Now, because of modern society, we don't have as much pressure, right? If we
Right.
can't go out and hunt, we can still go buy food, but that doesn't change how you should feel about yourself and how you should feel about your health. And again, enjoying life, because I know for me, when I lost 100 pounds, and you probably feel the same way, it's like a blind was lifted off me. It's
It
like you feel
is.
like a different person. You feel, even as guys, we don't talk about a lot, but like you feel better about yourself when you go out
Yeah.
and you're slimmer and you're healthier, and you just that's a big thing that we don't say a lot as men, but
Right.
we feel it. When
Right.
we look in the mirror, we feel if we're overweight, we feel if we're looking good, and like look good, feel good, live a good life.
Ah, well said. Clint, where can people learn more about what you're doing and how they can get healthier and feeling younger?
So what we're going to do is we're going to put a special link right at the bottom of your page. It's going to be a special link with Canolodine at a very, very special price just for your
Awesome.
listeners. So
Awesome.
I appreciate all the time and everyone listening to me today and hearing about it. But check out that page. It's all my research, everything to do about the alkaloid, and an awesome price just for your listeners.
Yeah, I actually went to the site today. It's great. It's so informative. I mean, this is amazing stuff. Gang, seriously, one of the things that I love about this platform is I get to share with you, the patriots out there that are making a real difference. And as you can see, Clint is absolutely exceptional. I mean, if guys who get beat up for a living are turning to him for pain relief, we've got no excuse. All right. So all you got to do is just click on that link below and find out more about Clint's amazing work and how he's helping patriots find freedom in their health. Again, I'm a client. I love this stuff. I couldn't recommend it more. You're going to love it too. Clint, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Keep up the amazing work, and we're going to have you back real soon.
Awesome. Sounds great.